Hello and welcome to the first part of this Let's Create series. In this series, we'll be going and creating loads of different mechanics from games. I'm hoping to do something like a free running series, like a free running from Assassin's Creed, do a series on that. And anything else that takes his fancy. You know, we might recreate a Zelda, do something from Dark Souls. We'll just pick something and go through and examine and try and recreate it to the best we can. Now, just to explain the difference between this and the normal tutorial sessions, how these are going to work is it's going to be much more just me going through the steps of development, but not necessarily going over everything in massive detail. So they're not as focused for towards tutorials, but of course there's still lots to learn from them because I will be explaining what I'm doing as I go. Okay, so for this first one though, instead of going over like doing Assassin's Creed or recreating, Bayonetta or something like that, what I wanted to do was recreate the very first project I ever did in Unreal, which is I'm about to show you now. Now, I'm not going to say all about it before it starts, except for turn your headphones down. In fact, I'm not sure you'll be able to hear the sound because I don't think the sound of the computer will come through the screen recording software. I don't think it does. So if you can't hear it, basically it's just an alarm going off the whole way through. All right, so I'll just hit play and I'll explain what's happening afterwards. So this was my very first play around with Unreal Engine about 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, there was an explosion then, if you can't hear the sound. Okay, and then we have this wonderfully low-res planet. Okay, so I'll talk you through what's happening there. So we'll just go back to the beginning. So the idea here, so when I was first learning Unreal, I was learning how to do like basic blueprints, how to get a HUD set up. That's why it says you will die in 20 seconds. The flashing lights were the basic blueprints. I was learning about texturing. That's why you can see some yellow here. I was trying to, learn a little bit about how to put meshes together. And also, as you can tell, the awful screen shake. I'm just going to turn the sound off. But this is, instead of learning these things in a vacuum, I wanted to put them together into a project. So that I had something to show, even though it's not really great or anything. So the idea is that you're on a spaceship and you wake up and the spaceship's about to explode. And you have to get to the escape pod, which is at the end here, and then get out of the ship. So, he opens the door. That's another blueprint that I worked on. I was pleased that I got working. So I got 2 of them. So we open that door, and then we have got another door here. I tried to have a counter, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So I just had left this on. And then we're in the escape pod, and then the spaceship explodes as we're leaving. And then we go to this planet, and I'm hoping to have like some music playing as we burn up and go in, burn up as we go into the atmosphere. So, what are we going to do when we recreate it? Okay, so obviously in 5 years I've learned quite a lot of stuff, and I also have a load of free assets now that we can use, so we don't have so everything doesn't have to look so bland. So I've already started this project. I've already made this first video once, but then lost the recording, so I'm just making it again. So I've already started a project, and I've just started a first person project, and I've just added a couple of these packs to it. So I added a spaceship pack, which I don't seem to be able to find here, spaceship interior, and I've added a space sphere pack so that we can get space set up really quickly. So the idea is, with this updated version, is I want to use the skills that I've been learning. So the idea now is that we're going to start in a room. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to be woken up by an alarm, and you are going to be encouraged, but this time by a character, to get out of the ship. It's going to explode within a time limit. I don't know if it's going to be 20 seconds. We'll have to see how things go and if there's an interesting narrative that we can get for this. I'm just checking my screen recording software because it's been acting up. Yeah, we're still recording. Right, so like I said, I've already made a start on recreating this. So with the asset pack, I have got this corridor. I've started this corridor. Now, this is just, like I said, a space interior asset pack. I haven't made any of these models, and you can tell they're professional models because the backs are missing. Now, you get that in these models because you don't want the backs of your models to be visible, simply because it's more polygons. So I'm just going to carry on creating this this part of the game while I explain the sort of ideas I have for it. So this is just going to recreate that corridor. So what the bit we're working on at the moment is, let me just go back to the video, is this first bit, okay, where we go into this corridor, but this time what I want to happen is I want there to be a sort of an explosion as you are walking down the corridor, and the wall opens up and all the people, or some of the people, are going to get sucked out into space while a force field sort of like comes up in front of you so you don't get sucked out. Then you're going to have to deactivate the force field and then go to the escape pod. We might have like a lock on there. You might have to get like a key card from a dead body or something just to add a bit of gameplay to it. But right now, all we're doing is working on the play space. So creating a corridor that we can walk down, and we know we want that explosion stuff to happen in this newer one. Right. So I'm just going ahead and doing that. Now, we've got a bit here where we want sort of like a smaller wall piece to be. I think we can just put a pillar in there. Okay, so it covers that hole. Just make it a little fatter. And when we put a ceiling on this, it won't matter that that's too tall because you won't be able to see it. And we aren't trying to make this perfect. We're just trying to recreate what we did before, or what I did before. Okay. Then I'm going to place one of these over here. Now, what I've done is I've placed down a floor tile. I've then mirrored that tile, so we've got two of them, and then I've placed one wall on each side. Then I've grouped those objects together. Now, how you do that is you just click, say if I click on that and then click on that, they're already grouped. If I wanted to make a four tile, I could then right click and just group them. Okay, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep going through adding a bit of detail. We don't want this corridor to be too long. Right? And then here is where we'll have the explosion happen. And everybody will get sucked out into space. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. So don't be too surprised if we don't get too far with it. Actually, I think they're supposed to go that way. Like that, maybe. So I'm going to rotate that. And then like that, I guess. Shift it back a bit. Okay. And then we'll rotate this. And then move this back again. Okay, so wait a second. Let me get this. Let me get this in here and hit play, and then we can have a first look around. Oops, that was loud. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. So what we need to do is we need to get some ceiling assets in. Let's have a look. What can we use for a ceiling? Wall, 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 wall. In a corner, corner, corner. Plate, plate, plate. Railing. I don't think they've got a ceiling piece. Got a sci-fi net, whatever that might be. So what we'll do is we'll just pick a piece like another floor, a different type of floor. So maybe this one. We'll look at it. Yeah, that looks fine. So, but it needs to be the same size as this because we're going to use it. All right, so let's have a look at setting this up. Now, if I'm right, we should be able to just straight through. So yeah. Oh no, that's double-sided. Okay, good. So we're going to use that, and we're going to right-click and group, and now they're stuck together. So if I click on that and then go back onto that, you'll see it's still selected both of them because they're in a group now. Move it so it's actually connected. Okay. Right, let's have a look at the time. Okay, we'll keep going. Right. Okay, so far so good. So let's go into the interior and have a look. So yeah, that's going to look way nicer than just that glowing red room. Of course, we are going to put in the red lights and do all that sort of stuff, but it'll just look a lot more attractive like this. Okay, so we're going to move down to here, and then when we get down to here, one of these walls is going to blow out. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that at all. Control Z. Let's also grab these and we'll group that all together. So we've got like one piece now, like a chunk for the corridor, and we'll group that. Regroup, and then I'll just pull out the corridor a little bit more. So this is where we're going to have the explosion. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to remove the wall so we know where that's going to be. And what we might have to do is just have a destructible mesh there, which we definitely won't get around to doing that this time. Okay. Or should I just say we won't get around to doing that today? Going on here, look. Oh, shocker, there's a space. That means we're going to have to select all of this and move it down a little bit. Which I don't like to do. In fact, what we'll do with that, we'll probably just cover it with something. You know, we've got all these pipes and bits and bobs and crates and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, we need to put some of that stuff in. So we'll just place that there for now. We've got bags, wires, all sorts of things that we can use for dressing later. Oh, that is annoying though. But in fact, I could just move that to fix it. I'll just make it a little bit wider. Just turn off the snapping. Alright, that'll fix that for now. Just a second, I just have to stop a second. Okay, sorry about that, children. Getting in the way. Okay, so let's hit play. Alright, so we've got a basic hallway set up. That didn't take too long at all. It's done when you've got these nice asset packs. And we're going to delete. So that's a group. So we need to ungroup it. So we just click on it, click on here, and then we want to go to groups, ungroup. So now we can just grab that and delete it. Okay, and then later on, what we're going to do is we're going to create from this wall piece, we're going to create a destructible mesh, and then we're going to have that destroy. And the people who are inside here, so as soon as that happens, there'll be like a warning, like something like, warning, the structural integrity is down. And then just as it explodes, a blue sort of force field will drop down, transparent one, and then everything in that room will get sucked out. Then the blue force field will go onto the wall so that it looks like it's being blocked up. And then you'll be able to carry on to the escape pod. That's the idea. And then the escape pod, of course, is actually a couple more pieces of corridor away. Now, we're not going to have any turns or anything. It's all just going to be one straight corridor, just so, to keep things relatively fast. And that's exactly how it is in the original. We need to turn snapping back on. And the idea, of course, is to create it to be as close to the original while improving it, close in spirit to the original, while vastly improving it with new skills that I've learned over the past 5 years. Right. So that's where the explosion will have a little bit more. And then it's just a case of setting up the door, another door. So we've already got a door section down here. So we'll just grab this and this and hold down Alt and Shift. And then we can copy it, but we can also move along with it. And then we're going to need to get that great piece again that we used, which is where? Here. And then again, hold down Alt and Shift. Line that up. That door piece isn't as lined up as we'd like it to be. There we go. And we'll finish that off later. Okay, so that's it for the first video. So we'll do some actual, probably add in some people or something in the next one. Okay. Oh no, lights. We'll do some lighting. All right, see you in the next one.